Have you ever felt that that creeping sense of softening as the years go by?
Hmm.
That quiet worry, maybe, about everyday tasks becoming just a little bit harder.
Yeah, that feeling.
And that frustrating belief, that declining strength and muscle loss are just inevitable, an unchangeable part of getting older.
Right. So many people just accept it as, well, the way it is.
But what if that deeply ingrained belief is fundamentally wrong?
Well, our deep dive today suggests it really is. It challenges pretty much everything we thought we knew about aging and muscle.
Absolutely. We're digging into some incredible material today. It's titled Beyond 60, Reclaiming Muscle, Reversing Decline. And what it reveals is, well, a radically different truth. It argues that not only is muscle growth after 50, genuinely possible.
But that it's absolutely essential for maintaining your independence, your vitality, really, for decades to come.
Exactly. And the breakthrough here is understanding that the conventional wisdom, this quiet acceptance of muscle loss.
Yeah, the idea that hormone levels are too low or recovery is just too slow.
Right. That thinking has been holding people back. The material we're looking at highlights a pretty alarming statistic.
It really is. After 50, you could be losing about 1% of your muscle mass every single day. You don't actively address it.
1% a day. Wow.
Think about that. In just 5 years, that could mean struggling with simple daily activities, things you take for granted now.
And our sources, they don't pull any punches either. They present a perspective that, the pharmaceutical industry, for instance, can profit from the frailty that weak muscles cause.
Right, through medications for falls, fractures, related conditions. It's a stark reminder of what's really at stake here.
But here's the truly exciting part, the promise from this research.
Yeah.
Your body apparently contains these dormant muscle-building mechanisms, and they can be reactivated at any age.
Okay, so this isn't just wishful thinking.
Not according to these sources. It's backed by some, frankly, astonishing claims. Like researchers at Harvard Medical School recently discovered certain seniors can actually build muscle faster than people half their age.
Faster than people half their age.
When they activate 4 specific biological triggers.
Wow, okay. That completely flips the script, doesn't it?
It really does. And the best part, our sources claim these 4 scientifically proven methods can literally reverse decades of muscle deterioration.
Okay.
And they say it costs nothing. No prescriptions needed.
That sounds almost too good to be true.
I know. But we'll even hear about real people like Margaret, 68, Robert, 72, Sarah, 65, and Thomas, who's 69. Ordinary people who stumbled upon or learned these secrets.
And saw real results.
Remarkable transformations, apparently, from finally opening pickle jars with ease to, moving furniture again.
Okay, that's compelling. So this deep dive isn't really about accepting limitations then?
Not at all. It's about understanding how to work with your biology, not against it, to unlock strength and confidence.
All right, let's get into it. Where do we start? These methods sound intriguing.
Okay, let's jump right into the first surprising method. Our sources call it time under tension manipulation.
Time under tension. Okay. Now, for many of us, maybe you included, we're taught to lift explosively, right? Move the weight quickly.
Yeah, that's the standard advice often.
But our sources reveal something really counterintuitive, especially for seniors. Slowing down can actually build muscle faster.
Faster by slowing down. Okay, why is that seemingly opposite approach so effective for an older body?
It's a fantastic question. And the mechanism is, well, it's fascinating. When you force your muscles to work against resistance for longer periods, specifically, they say between 20 to 40 seconds per repetition.
20 to 40 seconds. That's quite long for one rep.
Right. You create these beneficial microscopic tears in the muscle fibers.
Okay, micro tears. That sounds like damage, though.
Well, yes, but it's the good kind of damage. They act as powerful signals to your body. They trigger this cascade of growth signals that reactivate dormant satellite cells. Satellite cells. These are the muscle stem cells, right?
Exactly. Cells that have been waiting, maybe for decades, for the right stimulus to spring back into action.
Okay, so it's less about the sheer amount of weight you're lifting.
And more about how long you're making the muscle work against it.
Precisely. And the reason this apparently works so dramatically for seniors, according to the research, is also counterintuitive.
How so?
Aging muscles actually become more responsive to this type of sustained stimulus, not less.
Really? More responsive?
Yeah. The slower neural firing patterns that naturally come with age are, it turns out, perfectly matched to these longer tension periods. Essentially, your biology is kind of designed to benefit from this method even more than younger people.
That's a huge finding. It means our bodies aren't just giving up. They're actually primed for a different kind of training stimulus.
Exactly. Our sources even cite research, I think, from the University of Alabama, showing that when seniors use this time under tension correctly, they can increase muscle protein synthesis, that's the muscle building process, by up to 180% compared to traditional quick reps.
180%. Wow. So for those listening wanting to try this, what's the practical way? How do you actually incorporate this time under tension?
Well, it's simpler than you might think. Take almost any exercise you currently do, maybe a bicep curl, a squat, a chest press, and just consciously slow down the lowering part of the movement. Aim for about 4 seconds down.
4 seconds.
Then hold for maybe 2 seconds at the bottom or where the muscle is squeezed tightest.
Got it.
And then take about 3 seconds to return to the start. So 4 down, 2 hold, 3 up, something like that.
So much more deliberate.
Very deliberate. Remember Margaret, the 68-year-old grandmother?
Yeah, the one recovering from hip surgery.
Right. The sources say she stumbled upon this during physical therapy. She was on a leg press machine and it briefly malfunctioned, forcing her to just resist the weight for nearly 30 seconds. And the claim is, when she finally freed herself, her muscle fibers had undergone this extraordinary activation. It triggered a growth cascade more powerful than any supplement she might have taken.
Just from that one incident.
Well, it highlighted the principle. The research suggests that within just 2 weeks of using this deliberate technique consistently, you'll feel a deep muscle engagement you probably haven't experienced in years.
All right, that's incredibly practical. Slow it down. Okay, method number 2. Our sources call this one compound movement stacking.
Compound movement stacking.
This one is based on a really interesting observation. Why do farmers and manual laborers often stay remarkably strong well into their 80s?
You see that sometimes.
While some people who go to the gym regularly might struggle with basic movements as they age. What's the secret there?
Yeah, it's a good question. It turns out the secret seems to lie in how real-world activities force multiple muscle groups to work together in coordinated patterns.
Okay.
This creates a kind of neurological symphony that amplifies the muscle-building signal throughout your entire body.
A neurological symphony. I like that.
Think about it. When you moved furniture or carried heavy groceries when you were younger, you weren't just isolating, say, your bicep.
Right. You're using everything.
Exactly. You were engaging your core, legs, back, shoulders, arms, all in one fluid motion. This integration created a hormonal cascade that promoted growth in all those areas at once.
It's about integration, not just isolation. Like Robert, the 72-year-old retired mechanic we mentioned.
Oh, yes, his story.
Our sources say he accidentally discovered this principle while just reorganizing his garage, moving heavy toolboxes, from high shelves down to low cabinets.
Okay, yeah, that's a complex movement.
Right. It required him to basically perform a combination of a squat, an overhead press, and a carry all in one go. And after about 3 weeks of this sort of unintentional workout, he noticed his arms, legs, and core all felt significantly stronger.
Even though he hadn't done specific exercises for each of them.
Exactly. He was effectively compound movement stacking without even realizing it.
So how do we apply that intentionally?
Well, the method involves pairing 2 exercises back to back with no rest in between.
Okay, like a superset.
Kind of. But here's the crucial nuance, according to the sources. Instead of just choosing random exercises, you select movements that use similar muscle groups, but challenge them in opposite ways. Pushing and pulling, for example.
Opposite ways. Okay. Why does that matter?
This creates what researchers apparently call reciprocal potentiation.
Reciprocal potentiation. All right, break that down. Essentially, the first exercise wakes up your nervous system. It primes it. So the second exercise recruits even more muscle fibers than it would on its own.
Ah, I see. So the first move sets the stage for the second one to be more effective.
Precisely.
Give us a concrete example of that kind of pairing them.
Sure. Let's say you do a seated row that's a pulling motion, right?
Right. Pulling towards you.
Immediately follow that with a chest press, a pushing motion.
Okay. Pull, then push. Same upper body area, roughly.
Yes. The pulling motion of the row activates and stabilizes your core and shoulders in a specific way. And that stability allows the pushing motion of the chest press to engage deeper muscle fibers than either exercise could reach alone.
So they help each other out.
Synergistically, yes. Our sources suggest this effect can increase strength gains by up to 40% compared to doing those same exercises separately with rest in between.
40%. just from pairing them smartly. That's a huge boost.
It really makes you think differently about structuring a workout, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Okay, on to the third surprising method. And this one, well, this one is perhaps the most counterintuitive because it involves doing less, not more.
Ah, the recovery aspect, yes. This method is based on a phenomenon discovered by researchers studying, believe it or not, hibernating animals.
Hibernating animals.
Like bears.
Exactly, who somehow manage to maintain their muscle mass despite months of inactivity. They trigger what scientists call micro-recovery cycles.
Micro-recovery cycles. The core insight here, and this is critical, is that your muscles don't actually grow during the exercise itself.
Right, they grow during rest. We hear that a lot.
We do, but most seniors, according to our sources, make the mistake of not allowing enough time between workouts for this growth to actually occur.
So they're working out too often.
Potentially, yes, meaning they're actually preventing muscle development because they're trying too hard, interrupting the recovery and growth process.
Wow. So all those people pushing themselves daily think they're doing the right thing? They might actually be hindering their own progress. That's wild.
It seems counterintuitive, but that's what the sources suggest.
So what is the optimal frequency then for muscle growth, specifically for people over 50?
Well, it turns out the optimal frequency isn't daily or maybe even every other day for the same muscle groups. Our sources point to a specific rhythm, 3 days on, followed by 2 days completely off.
3 days on, 2 days off. Interesting.
During those off days, your muscle fibers are actually working harder, in a sense, rebuilding stronger than they ever do during your actual workouts.
So the magic happens on the rest days.
Absolutely. Within 24 hours of your workout, your muscle cells start producing new proteins at a rate up to 50% higher than normal.
50% higher.
And this heightened protein synthesis process continues for 72 to 96 hours. That's 3 to 4 days.
Okay.
But only if you provide the right environment for recovery. That means, adequate sleep, proper hydration, and crucially, complete rest from training those same muscle groups.
Let them rebuild. That's exactly what Sarah, the 65-year-old teacher, discovered, right?
Yes. Her story fits perfectly. She was frustrated, apparently, working out 6 days a week with little progress.
6 days. Wow.
Then she was forced to take a week off because she got sick. And she was shocked to find she was actually stronger when she came back than before her break.
Just from resting.
Yeah. This led her to experiment with longer rest periods between sessions, and the sources claim she ultimately doubled her muscle gains in half the time.
Doubled the gains in half the time by working out less often.
It's rooted in this biological principle called supercompensation. Your body doesn't just repair the damage from exercise, it builds back stronger, anticipating future challenges.
Okay.
But that supercompensation process requires specific time windows, which most people interrupt by exercising too frequently.
Right. You gotta let the process complete itself.
Precisely. It's about letting your body do its best work. Don't rush it.
Okay, now for the fourth method. And arguably, this is the most surprising one. It involves breathing.
Breathing. How can breathing build muscle?
Exactly. It involves manipulating your breathing patterns during exercise in specific ways. And our sources say this can increase muscle activation by up to 30%.
30% more activation just from breathing differently.
And get this, simultaneously trigger the release of growth hormones naturally produced by your body.
Okay, that seems almost too simple. What's the actual science behind that claim?
This is where it gets really interesting, apparently. Most people just breathe randomly during exercise, right? Haphazardly.
Yeah, or they hold their breath without thinking.
Right. But there's a specific technique. Researchers apparently discovered it by studying elite powerlifters and martial artists. It's called antagonistic breathing.
Antagonistic breathing.
It works by deliberately creating tension in your core muscles through controlled breath holding while you're performing the movement.
Holding your breath and tensing your core.
Yes. This creates a kind of hydraulic effect inside your torso. It supports your spine while amplifying the force production of pretty much every other muscle in your body.
Wow, a hydraulic effect, so it literally makes you stronger from the inside out.
That's the idea. And that's what Thomas, the 69-year-old retired construction worker, supposedly learned.
The skeptical one.
Yeah, he was skeptical at first because it just seemed too simple. But our sources explain that within just 3 workouts of using this breathing technique, he was lifting weights he hadn't been able to handle in over a decade.
Seriously?
And apparently, even his chronic back pain, which had plagued him for years, completely disappeared.
Just from breathing? How?
Because this breathing pattern was naturally strengthening his deep core muscles, the ones that support the spine, in ways that traditional ab exercises maybe never could.
Okay, so how does the breathing pattern actually work? What do you do?
Okay, so it works like this. As you begin the hardest part of any exercise, like pushing up in a push-up or standing up in a squat,
Right, the exertion phase.
you take a deep breath in, and then you hold it while deliberately contracting your abdominal muscles. Like brace yourself as if someone was about to, gently punch you in the stomach.
Okay, deep breath in, hold, brace the core.
Exactly. This internal pressure creates what engineers call pneumatic stability. Think of it like an internal air brace.
Pneumatic stability, like
Yeah.
an air splint inside you.
Kind of. And this solid internal brace allows your arms and legs to generate more force because they have a stable foundation to push or pull against.
Okay, that makes mechanical sense. But you mentioned something even more profound earlier, a hormonal impact. How does breathing tie into hormones?
Yeah, this is maybe the most remarkable part. This specific breathing technique, the bracing and holding, also stimulates your vagus nerve.
The vagus nerve
Okay.
that runs throughout the body.
It's a major communication highway between your brain and many organs. Stimulating it in this way, the sources claim, naturally triggers the release of growth hormone and testosterone.
Wow. Even in seniors whose natural production of these hormones might have declined significantly.
Apparently so. This means you're not just making your muscles work harder during the exercise, you're also optimizing your internal hormonal environment for muscle growth long after your workout is finished.
That is incredible, breathing your way to better hormones and more strength.
It really is amazing how simple yet profound these methods seem when you consider the complexity and, frankly, the expense of solutions we're often sold.
Yeah, the fitness industry.
Right. Our sources emphasize that the reason most people never discover these methods is because the fitness industry is often built around selling complicated programs, expensive supplements, ongoing memberships.
Things you have to keep buying.
Exactly. But the truth, they argue, is that muscle growth is governed by simple biological principles that haven't changed in thousands of years.
Like time under tension, compound movements, rest, and even breathing.
Right. And when you aligned your training with these principles, instead of maybe fighting against your own biology,
Your body responds.
it responds with an enthusiasm that will surprise everyone, including yourself. That's the claim.
So let's bring this all together. What does this mean for you, our listener, as we wrap up this deep dive?
Well, we've explored 4 really surprising, scientifically backed methods that kind of defy conventional wisdom, don't they?
They really do. Time under tension manipulation.
Compound movement stacking.
Strategic micro-recovery cycles, resting more.
And antagonistic breathing. And what's particularly exciting about these, as our sources point out, is that they work together, synergistically.
Right. Combining them creates results far greater than the sum of their parts, potentially leading to muscle gains that might even exceed what you achieved when you were younger.
It's crucial, though, to understand a point our sources really hammer home.
Which is?
Every day of delay, of inactivity, means not just losing that muscle mass we talked about,
That 1% a day.
but also losing the neurological connections,
Yeah.
the pathways between your brain and your muscles.
Ah, the use it or lose it principle for the nerves, too.
Exactly. These pathways deteriorate from disuse, and once those connections are lost, they become exponentially harder to rebuild.
So the window of opportunity, it isn't really closed by age itself.
No, it's closed by accepting limitations that, according to this research, just aren't real.
That's a powerful call to action. Remember Margaret, Robert, Sarah, and Thomas.
Yeah, the examples we used.
They weren't special cases, right? They were ordinary individuals who just applied these principles.
And our sources argue that the same potential exists within you, listening right now. It's just waiting for the right signals.
And these methods, they don't require a fancy gym membership or expensive equipment or some complicated schedule.
No, they just require really the decision to treat your body as the remarkable machine it is. It's about reclaiming the physical power that is, arguably, your birthright, regardless of your age.
So here's something to consider as we finish up. What does it truly mean for age to be just a number when you actively engage with your biology in these ways?
That's a good question.
What fundamental assumptions about aging, about physical decline, might you be holding on to that are unknowingly limiting your potential right now?
Imagine the impact, and this goes far beyond just how you look.
Yeah.
Imagine the impact on your energy, your confidence, your independence, your whole quality of life.
Yeah.
If you were to redefine what's possible for your body starting today.
This isn't just about building muscle, is it?
No. It's about reclaiming a vibrant, empowered future.